Hey everybody, welcome to Analog Stick Radio, episode 38. I am your host Mitch, and as always I am joined by my two family-friendly Funboys. Funboy 1, Mr. Christopher, how we doing tonight?
Oh God, they call me the Fam Boy.
Oh, Fanboy, I forgot that we changed that. I completely forgot all about it. How we doing tonight? How you been? You been alright? How was your 3-day weekend?
It was way less productive than it should have been.
I feel like the Memorial Day weekend is not supposed to be productive, if I know
Sounds
anything
like it's
about
as
Memorial
productive
Day.
as
It
it should
should be,
been.
but sometimes it's got to be. But it wasn't. So I was on par with what it should be, but not on par with what it should have been.
And then Funboy 2 down below me, Dakota. How you doing down there with that big black thing in your face?
I'm doing great. I love big black things in my face.
Yeah, I
Man,
figured.
this is big black things, fun boys. I don't think this is family friendly whatsoever, Mitch.
I haven't used a single curse word yet, so fuck you. Oh, fuck.
Good point.
Well, there we go.
Good point.
There we go. We fucked it up. All right, guys, so let's talk about what's new in gaming. Last week, I let you guys know that I was trying to get to Legend, today being the final day for the Hearthstone season 2016.
Don't tell me you let us all down.
I let you down. I got to 3. I got to rank 3.
Pretty fucking high.
Which is
That's
really fucking
that's
high.
really good though.
What I forgot was that when you get to 5, so normally when you win 3 in a row, you start a win streak and you get 2 stars every time.
Yeah.
Well, when you get to rank 5, every rank is 5 stars and you don't get 2 stars
no
anymore.
win streaks.
So I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. It was too much for me to, I got to 3, I was super proud, and then I lost 9 in a row. And
man.
I just was like, you know what?
That
Fuck
just
it.
kills it. That just
I was
kills
just
it.
like, you know what? I don't know what happened. For some reason, I had been using the same mid-range hunter deck for the past week, and I started doing really well with it. I figured out exactly how to play it, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, I couldn't pay somebody to lose to me at all. It was insane. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened, but I tried. I got to 3. I'm satisfied with that.
I mean, that's
Good.
really
You
good,
should
man.
be.
That's really good.
So next season,
Probably get a lot of
we're getting
rewards
Legend.
for that.
What?
You probably get a lot of rewards. Like they've been giving
Yeah,
out,
you
I
get-
really like how they give out rewards for ranking now.
Yeah, you get a gold. I know you do get a golden legendary, or no, a golden epic. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna get a
That's
random
really cool.
golden epic, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's pretty sweet.
that's
But
mentioned.
I promise you guys, next season, I'm gonna be a legend in Hearthstone.
You know what they say? I mean, not to diminish what you've done, but they say that at least a fairly large component of it is time invested.
Right.
And you sought out to do this, on the 15th or the 16th or something like that, halfway through the season, right?
On the 21st.
Yeah. So given 9 days, rank 3, not too shabby, man. Not too shabby.
So Chris, what about you? I know you had a unproductive Memorial Day weekend. Does that mean that you did some gaming? I'm hoping.
Yeah, I just played a metric buttload of Overwatch.
As we all have. As we all have, yes.
I was playing with everybody. With all of my friends got it. A bunch of people who said they weren't going to get it. I logged on one day and they're installing, and I'm like, "What do you do?" They're like, "Yeah, I got it." So I just played with.
Of course he got it.
So
Was
many
there
people
any
who-
ever doubt, Mitch? Any doubt whatsoever?
There wasn't. It's hilarious too. I convinced my roommate. He was like, well, a lot of my friends have it on Xbox 360, so I was gonna get that. And I was like, or you could just get it on PC because
bro.
that's the better system to play it on because it's a first person shooter. And he's like, and he was like back and forth. And I was like, by the way, the PC version is 40. And he goes, okay, done. Okay, done. We're getting it on
right.
PC.
I forgot they don't have a $40 option, right? It's always 60 bones.
Always 60 bones for the consoles, which to me is kind of fucked up, but whatever. What I don't
Most
care.
definitely.
I got to pay 40, so that was sweet. Dakota, what about you? What's new with you in gaming this week?
Well, I played 2 games this week. I played Overwatch and I played Uncharted 4. I think I've spoken about them enough, though. So I figured for my this week with games and me, I would talk about interesting news item. So No Man's Sky got delayed. We all saw that.
Heard about that?
Do we have to talk about it? Because I'm going to actually flip every table in my house.
That's
and
fine,
in
man.
Chris's house. I'm going to drive to his house and flip all of his tables, too.
bro.
I think the more important news item to come up out of all this, though, was the guy that broke the news, Kotaku's Jason Schreier.
Oh, yeah.
And Sean Murray from Hello Games received death threats because of this news breaking. So the games journalist who found out about it and wrote about it was accused of lying so that he could get clicks on Kotaku and death threats via Twitter and all that nonsense.
Wow.
And the subreddit was full of people.
Believe.
It's unbelievable, man. And what's even more unbelievable is this happens all the time in the gaming industry. Like,
goddamn shame, dude.
I feel like every other month there's some kind of scandal about some journalist being berated by the quote unquote community of whatever game that is because they said something they didn't like.
I mean, I'm mad too, but I'm not gonna kill the guy. I might just
right.
No,
I might egg his house, but I'm not gonna kill him.
This is even a different situation. This guy has nothing to do with development. He posted a story that he had insider information from some guy he knew at GameStop who said, hey, they're handing out, new signs saying that, No Man's Sky has been delayed. And so he's like, hey, I got insider information says that this might be delayed. So people are flipping out on something this guy said that might happen.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Dakota, what's going on here, man?
I think
what's happening?
Well, I mean, I think we can all agree. Some might call it backwards, or maybe vindictive, or maybe even barbaric. But I think we can all agree that anybody that puts their fingers to a fucking keyboard and types something like that, just take their hands, right? They don't need their hands anymore.
They don't need them.
They've forfeited the right to have hands at that point.
Or at least fingers, right? They can have their hands.
At least
they
fingers.
can keep the palms all day long, so they can do some weird jerking off. But they don't need their fingers.
You can't take a man's right.
That's what matters there.
Now that's barbaric.
You can't take a man's ability to masturbate. That's what is this? What is this? What country do we live in? Come on.
We're not that show. Holy shit.
Yeah. So what I really meant to ask was, what the fuck's going on with No Man's Sky? I'm upset too because Dakota, you and I have been waiting for this game for.
Well,
yeah, we have. My coworker actually brought it to my attention. Usually, I'm telling him about all the video game news, and he brought it to my attention. He sent me a link over Slack. Slack's not just for work, everybody. And he said, he's like, check this out, and he linked me the Kotaku article. I'm like, dude, can you imagine that? It was I think 3.5 weeks out from the release date when he sent it to me. And it's 3.5 weeks, man. You'd expect images to be getting pressed to gold disc at that point.
Yeah.
They should be manufacturing at that point. Totally code complete. And it's well, if these rumors are true, they're not even code complete now. Even with the delay was only a month and a half, I guess, because it's to August 9th. So June, July, about a month and 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. That still doesn't mean they have very much time to code.
Yeah, that's really close to
Well, I think they did say that they were just perfecting some things. There were some things that were not.
They said that they had a couple of
standards.
spots.
Yeah,
they said they had a couple of moments that they wanted to sharpen up. I tell you what, this game has been in development for what seems like goddamn forever. So I'm okay with 6 more weeks. I'll fucking live. It's not the end of the world.
I mean, we have Overwatch to tie us over. Thank God. Thank
we do.
God.
It's a goddamn good thing. And I have Half-Life 2 and I've got Uncharted 4. I got plenty to play, man. There's been so many good games this year or in the last 2 years especially. It feels like shit, man. I haven't even finished Witcher 3. So not the end of the world. The world will continue turning, and we will get No Man's Sky in August.
Yeah, and speaking of continuing to turn, let's continue to turn on over to the main topic. Why don't we? Chris, you always look at me. You always look at me just discouraged, just upset at every one of my transitions. I could give you the most amazing transition, and you would give me that face. This disappointed. I can't believe you used a pun to transition us face.
It's not even the pun,
no,
man.
That was good.
You gotta. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't articulate my distaste for that today.
Chris has high transition standards. Standards.
Thank you, Dakota. He understands. You understand?
Well, today we're going to be talking about. We wanted a little bit more of a lighter topic, so we're going to be talking about progression systems. We're talking about all sorts of things involving them, what we like, what we don't like, all sorts of stuff. So let's briefly talk about what the hell is a progression system, Dakota. What the hell is a progression system?
Wow, yeah, tell us, Dakota.
Yeah, I guess, those two words can cover a lot of stuff, and I think that we're going to keep it pretty wide open here. We're going to talk about whatever we want to talk about within the confines, so we can be talking about level up systems or talent systems, or if a game has gear, you might even consider getting new gear a form of progression. You could be talking about a ranked play rank as a progression system. Overwatch has a level, and you technically level up, but it has has no gameplay implications, but some might consider that a progression system nonetheless.
Right.
So we're going to be talking about any or all of those.
Right. Some way in which the game tries to get you to move forward, tries to get you to keep playing the game.
To progress.
To progress. Exactly. Yeah,
Progress.
I know
that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it, Chris. I should have put it like that at the beginning. So let's talk about, I guess the best way to start this off would be to talk about some of the notable progression systems that we've enjoyed. I mean, we've seen a lot of them over the years. They're in almost every single game. So let's talk about some of the ones that, we really like and why we like them. Chris, give me some thoughts.
Well, I'm going to say the first one that I really kind of noticed that I liked was probably for WoW.
I mean, yeah,
right?
That's a very solid, yeah.
Because...
And for clarity's sake, Chris, you haven't played WoW since Wrath of the Lich King, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you making...
Because, I mean, the talent system's changed since then, so just to establish
true,
what...
yeah.
Actually, Chris, it's even better than it was, in my opinion.
We'll talk about this. This is a good topic, but go ahead, Chris. Talk about what you
when
want to
I played it, I haven't played for many years, but when I first started playing it, at the time, I thought it's so great to level up in WoW, because you have your character and you're like, oh, cool, I was a mage, or at first I was a warlock, whatever. You're doing your guy and you're like, wow, this is really fun. I'm getting all these kind of cool spells and stuff. And then, boom, talent thing unlocks. First, you're like getting a spell every level, like you're kind of used to in a lot of JRPGs that were popular back in the olden times, like we talked about. But then it unlocks these 3 talent trees and you're like, oh, so I could kind of like specialize myself, make myself like a special kind of mage or whatever. So I saw this frost tree, and from then on it was all golden history. But the fact that it wasn't just that every level up I was like, okay, now I get this spell, and now I get this spell. It was kind of like, oh man, what am I gonna do? I'm really liking like AoE abilities, but should I keep going for AoE or should I go for like single target? It really had me thinking the whole time, and it was kind of like more than just wanting to level up to get stronger. It was like leveling up so I could pick which way I wanted to go, and like that was kind of part of the fun of it.
Yeah, you get to specialize. Sure. You're not just a spellcaster as a mage. You're a frost spellcaster, but you're not even just a frost spellcaster. You're an area of effect frost spellcaster. Yeah, you got to really specialize in exactly what you enjoyed out of that character, and that's something that progression systems allow you to do. I mean, if you just like,
well, hopefully.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the ideal situation. We're using Blizzard as an example, and Blizzard's usually the king of most things that they do. So,
I'm gonna note that point.
Oh, we're gonna put an asterisk right there?
Yeah.
Put a pin in it?
Yeah, put a pin in it.
Come back later?
So we'll come back to that later.
Right.
I mean, yeah, so, and in World of Warcraft, Chris, it's not even just the talent trees, it's just the leveling up in general. If you think about it like this, what I like about the way that Blizzard and a lot of these other JRPGs, I mean, Blizzard kind of essentially stole it from the JRPG style. What I like about them is that with that style of every level you get a different spell and you slowly learn how to play your character, it's not as overwhelming for new characters. I mean, we're gamers, so if you toss us into a class and give us all the spells, we're like, fuck yeah, let's figure this out. I want to figure out the optimal build. That's great for us. But for most new gamers, that's extremely intimidating if you just have every mage spell and you're like, oh god, what do I do here? So they just slowly trickle them in and let you learn how to use them, let you learn how to play your character. And that's something that I really enjoyed out of the mage, or not the mage progression system, but the WoW progression system was the idea that you get these spells over time, and I don't have to know exactly how everything works as a druid. I can pick it up as I go, as I start playing with these, lower level spells.
So is that like is that your favorite? What would be your favorite one?
I don't want to talk about my favorite one because I talk about it all the time, but Final Fantasy X, man, the fucking, like, oh my god, the Sphere Grid was so amazing.
Interesting.
It was so awesome because you had to like plan out your talent build is what we would call it. Like if you wanted your, spellcaster to, maybe do more AoE damage or have more, direct damage spells, like you had to pick and then you would start deviating, but then sometimes you would come back to the center again. And so it was a very elaborate way of doing things. And it really solidified that idea that like every sphere that I pick like has an outcome, like it changes how I'm going to play this character now. And I really liked that. I really liked the idea that, you could choose how your characters in this set world play. And that was awesome. Plus it was just super fun. Like the grid was gigantic. It was so
It was.
monumentally humongous. It was insane. So it was just it
would be like
awestrucking.
Yeah, it would be like if every single class, Chris, in the in WoW shared the same talent tree, but they just started at different spots.
I've seen it before.
That's
One of my
exactly what it's like.
my buddies played it a while, like back in the PS2 days, and I was over his house all the time. And then he showed me all this stuff, and I was like, "Whoa, that's so cool!"
Wait,
how
Chris, you may have seen me play it. I played it at your house when
it was Aaron.
Oh, damn. Well, I played it at your house,
close.
too.
I probably saw it on yours, too. But yeah, it was so cool. I thought, like, wow, you can actually crisscross them.
Yeah, some of them cross paths, which is so insane.
We're talking about mostly RPGs, but I wonder, Dakota, what was your notable one? I want to move... If in case...
Well, 10 is definitely notable. Mitch and I have fucking mentioned that game all the time, so we'll revisit it. I mean, I think there's more to talk about as we go deeper into the episode, but maybe just a quick notable one, not even one that is my favorite or I enjoy necessarily, but probably the first one that I remember was Final Fantasy VII. That was one of my earlier RPGs that I played. The materia system, advancing your character through materia, was the only way you could advance your character other than, like, armor, weapons and armor. But what made each character function differently was materia, which you could equip. You basically, and that doesn't mean anything who doesn't know what materia is, I guess. Yeah. They're basically little balls of magic that you inserted into your armor that would give you abilities. They would give you spells to cast or abilities to use. So if you wanted a dude to have like the strike all cleave attack, you had to equip him with the strike all cleave materia, basically. You just assigned abilities. So in that way, I mean, it's pretty arcane, man. It didn't really mean anything. It's like the experience that you get after a battle would go to the materia that was currently equipped to your character. So you only would increase the strength of abilities that you were using. But you could assign materia to any character.
Yeah, there was no stipulations.
No stipulate. So there was a lot of homogenization that went on in FF7 where all of the characters could function identically depending on what you equipped them with as far as materia goes. Their stat gains were different and fixed. Like you couldn't control that. So that maybe deviated them a little bit. But as far as materia was concerned, it didn't matter. That said, I'm sure fucking everybody equipped, the girls with magic and the guys with physical attacks. Maybe I'm being totally like presumptuous, but I mean, that's what I did as a young fucking boy, right?
Right.
Ares has healing super attacks, so it's like, okay, well, let me also give her the healing magic too.
Right, that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's the way that they intended it. I don't think they realized, like, or maybe they did. Maybe they just wanted to let everybody do what the fuck they wanted. Like, I don't know.
I could have, yeah. For the reason that it stands out in my mind today is how arbitrary it was. It didn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
There was no rhyme or reason to it at all. The only reason why that progression system functioned, I think, as far as the game was concerned, was that it tied directly into the fiction and narrative of the game, which is kind of cool.
I think that's definitely a big point of progression systems in kind of story-driven games, is that it needs to be able to make you connect to the character themselves and grow that character throughout the way. Like you mentioned, she started with like a healing super move. It'd be kind of weird then to make her like a sword character, if I'm reading this right.
Right. Give her the cleave attack.
Yeah, I'm going in there. I'm going to blow the shit out of everybody. Meanwhile, oh yeah, hold on, wait a second. Everybody healed up real quick? Yeah. Okay, let me go back in there and keep stabbing eyeballs. Like, I mean, it probably went with her character to develop. I never played Final Fantasy VII, but her character probably went with a healing archetype.
Totally.
What you'd imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and let's talk about like how progression systems are used. I think that's definitely one of them. Final Fantasy is an interesting case because the way that you might use a progression system to reflect kind of the ethos or like the characterization of a character, what makes them tick as a person, might be reflected in their skill set or the way they progress skill wise. But it's not even necessarily the case in FF7. It's just probably the case that the player chooses to make it so. But isn't that funny how the player is almost compelled in a way to make the way the characters play functionally match the way they act character-wise?
But not forced to, which in most games nowadays you are.
Sure.
You can't really...
As a Frost Mage, you can't get Cleave. You get Frostfire Bolt or whatever.
Yeah, that was before my time.
Yeah, Chris doesn't even know what Frost Firebolt is.
Rather.
Yeah.
That's just magic. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think another way progression systems are supposed to be used is just kind of give you something to do to not just focus on like speeding through the game. You know, like if you don't have anything really to aim for, to like grind for, you're just going to plow through all the content and you're not really going to appreciate the game.
That's the worst way I feel that progression systems are used.
Is this what we would consider like Skinner boxy?
Yeah,
as far as progression is concerned,
where you just kind of like push a lever, get
unlock.
something. Yeah,
Yep.
that we see that mostly in the multiplayer space, and I don't want to go here quite yet. But since we're here, I'm going to unpin from before about what Blizzard doesn't do right. I understand what they're doing in Overwatch. But it's
you would be this guy. Oh my God. The game's out. You got it day one. We all love it. And you still find something to poke at. God, Chris.
I mean, I bought the game. I could criticize. Like, I still like it just because I don't like the way it progresses. And the progression is... See, the thing is, the skins...
It's the epitome of Skinner box. It's pseudo-random.
And it's about skins.
Like, incremental unlock. What'd you say?
And it's about skins.
And it's about skins. Oh, man. They're literally skin boxes.
Exactly,
oh
bro.
God.
So, but what I'm saying is... You're just playing to level up to get a box with a random chance to get a skin. Like, there's nothing compelling about... There's so much they could have done. We had Mr. Colville on here, and he was great last week, and he talked about how they used, storytelling in Evolve during the downtime. They had so much opportunity to do this in Overwatch. Like, they could have progressed the story through these, they still have a chance to, because, the game's new. They have a chance to throw in cutscenes, but when you're waiting for a match to start, everybody's standing around playing basketball in the dropship, right? Like, there's plenty of time for those characters to talk. Sometimes they do give little dialogue, but, like, most of the time, it's stupid stuff. Like, one's like Tracer and Lucio are like, hey, you want to race? And it's like, yeah, I'll beat you. So that's fun. It kind of gets the play on the characters. Sure. They like each other. Some characters say something mean to each other, but there's no story. All the story that everybody wants to see in the game isn't portrayed in any way. Doesn't show it progress in any kind of way. I hope that their progression moves from just the basic skin and boxes to...
That's still blowing my mind.
To maybe some kind of, like... I don't know, some kind of story that, like, slowly builds over time. Like, they'll add, like, a map pack, of course for free, because they said they're going to add all these maps for free. They're going to add, like, a map pack that has to go with, like, there's the crisis in Australia or something, and has to do with a lot with, Junkrat and Roadhog. And so maybe they have a lot more conversations during this time period. Like, I
maybe
think
you see things while you're in that world or something like that. And yeah, Overwatch is in a weird position because it's kind of like Team Fortress 2, where, like, there is a storyline, but there isn't.
No, it's totally different because they have an entire backstory. Like, Team Fortress has somewhat of a backstory, like, Manco and a couple things they added over time. But Overwatch out the gate, every single character has a rich history that's interwoven with all the others.
Place.
Yeah, I think it's just...
And it's funny. I was going to say, like, you brought it up, Chris, but man, doesn't it seem like, let's call it a Colvillian style of gameplay storytelling would be perfect for Overwatch. It's a funny thing that
I like Colvillian.
They chose not to go that route because they're the company that's got, like, the fucking, all the resources out the ass in order to do whatever they want. So I don't know. Does that mean that they wouldn't prefer that type of storytelling? Why am I talking about storytelling, by the way?
Because we were talking about the way I was talking about, because we were talking about progression isn't simply just about, like, RPGs, how we normally... that's what I mentioned when we were talking about it. We all thought about RPGs as the main standouts. Totally. But RPG isn't the way you progress with your abilities isn't the only form of progression in a game. Mitch mentioned how you need it to, slowly unlock things over time. Storyline progresses the character development as well. And I feel that that's just as important. In Overwatch, I'm not getting any kind of progression feeling by slowly leveling up to get skins over time. That's going to die out really quick. There's going to be a time
already
in a couple
dying
months.
out. There's already people complaining about it. Like, there's no reason compelling me to play Overwatch other than the fact that I enjoy the gameplay.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
beyond that, like, if I get tired of the gameplay and I kind of want a little bit something more from it, there's nothing.
You want it to progress.
Well, that's
in some way.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying.
I mean, that
I want
kind of begs a different question altogether. I mean, what you're saying, Mitch, is, when the gameplay isn't enough to hold you, you want something else to hold you there.
That's exactly what I'm getting.
I think
that's
what
exactly what I'm saying. Because I mean, it's
I don't
eventual,
want that.
right?
I don't want that at all for my video games. I want my video games to be fun, and the moment they stop being fun, I don't want them to trick me into keep playing them.
No, that's why a good progression system isn't a trick. It isn't a Skinner box. It isn't a way that the boxes, they're like, let's throw some more skins at you. There's going to be a point where you just find the skin that you like for the character, and that's what you're going to use. Doesn't matter how many other
Mitch
skins.
and I were talking about that earlier. It's like once you have a legendary, every recolored base
Once
skin
it
you
doesn't
get
matter.
is garbage.
So that's why if they add a progression through storyline that make you hook, like, oh wow, this is actually really interesting. I come back for the gameplay, but if they're adding, new maps plus an extra story that I find is interesting, it might revitalize. Like, oh wow, did you hear about that new thing? Like, it might not be a big thing you talk about, like, wow, did you hear about the Omnic Crisis update of... Nobody gives a shit about that, but at least
How about that Omnic weather?
Exactly,
Chris?
but at least it's like something interesting.
I mean, I don't mean to challenge. I think you're right. I don't disagree, and I don't expect you to have an answer for me, but what might a desirable progression system in Overwatch look like? I think it's hard for the genre.
It would look like a ranked system, and that's exactly what's coming. I mean, that's a style of progression.
That's an addition. I agree.
That is a progression system, and that is exactly what Overwatch is missing. And I'm kind of to the point now where I'm like, I like playing it. And honestly, the only reason I'm playing it to level up is just in case there's a ranked requirement or a level requirement for ranked. That's literally the only thing driving me to play Overwatch right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Get out.
No, that's it.
You're not enjoying the game anymore?
I'm enjoying...
Mitch drops things real quick.
No. Let me explain. I'm enjoying the game, but I mean, we know this now. We're all fairly competent gamers at this point. I feel like I'm relatively good at the game. I'm not like amazing, but I'm good. So I know how all of my characters that I like to play.
Talk about Dunning-Kruger next week. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I know how all of my characters play, at least, and I know how to play around other things and stuff like that. I'm learning a little bit as I go. But I don't like playing with randoms in a non-ranked environment because I like to win. I mean, we all like to win. I like to win. And everybody's just kind of doing whatever the fuck they want. No one really cares that there's 4 Hanzos and we're on offense. Hanzo being one of the sniper characters. Like, no one cares. And I'm sitting here going like, can we please get like a tank or like a healer or anything that's not a Hanzo? And they're like, oh bro, you sound mad and I just here to have fun. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not here to have fun. I'm here to win. Like, this is what I want. This is how I get my fun.
Oh no, I don't want to play with Mitch. That's who I don't want to play with. Like, I'm totally on the opposite side of that coin. I'm not going to go out of my way to like grief somebody, but I'm going to play whoever the fuck I want to play. I mean, it's not a ranked play. I have the rare ability in a video gamer. I'm going to sound like a fucking douchebag, but I have the rare ability to enjoy a game while losing. And I think that's like kind of a lost art for video gamers for some reason.
What is that like? Like, how do you feel when you are losing but enjoying it?
I feel as long as
I'm
losing,
just happy I'm playing the game.
If
like,
I lost,
you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. You can only expect to win roughly half the games you play if they're good games.
I guess I'm in the middle. I don't mind if I lose a good game. Like, if I'm losing...
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I guess that's the better way to state it. Like, I don't mind losing a good game either, but when we have 4 Hanzos on offense and everyone's being a dumbass... Yeah, that's not fun for me. We're literally just sitting there dying.
It sounds like a particular game you're referencing here.
No,
one time.
I'm definitely not salty about this game I played an hour ago, okay? All I'm saying is, like, I like the idea of a competitive game. This has the potential, I guess I should say, to be a very competitive game. And, right now, no one's really playing it like that. And that's okay for everybody. Continue playing 4 Hanzos on offense. I'm just saying that's what I enjoy.
I'm with you, Mitch, in that what's going to keep me coming back 100% is the ranked play. Like, I'm a guy who if I like a game, I will play it regardless. I'll bring it up on Real Tournament 2004, the olden time games, old Battlefield, old Call of Duty games, not old Call of Duty games actually, like the original Call of Duty in World War II settings, didn't have any kind of multiplayer progression system at all. Old Counter-Strike, nothing. You just played for the hell of it and had fun doing it. And that's the kind of game that I don't mind playing. But what will keep me going longer is ranked mode or if they add some kind of storyline that's like, oh, you know what, this is pretty interesting, and I like to listen along or go along with it.
Yeah.
Before we jump away from this real quick, one thing I want to mention, because I didn't mention it, is that is my form of progression system. I like to see myself progress. I like to see myself get better at the game, and ranked play is how I do it. So,
and that's a 100% legitimate progression system that a lot of people, that's what they go for.
Yeah, I love it.
What about, you know what's just as important, and people don't realize it, progression in single-player games. I mentioned notably World of Warcraft was my I guess notable one where I first kind of recognized progression system. But as I thought about this, Zelda, had the best progression system I've ever played in a lot of games. Like, if you think about it, when you're going into like the forest temple or whatever, it has all these different things around, like these little places for the hook shot. And you have no idea where to go. You enter rooms that are like, oh, there's some way to get across this. How do I do this? They introduce this new item eventually halfway through, and you're like, oh, I get it. And you go through all these hookshot puzzles, going through, progressing through. Next dungeon, you know what? I got hookshot down. All I was doing was hookshotting. Now they had like the big bomb or the power gloves or whatever. So you got to lift up these things and hookshot over stuff. So it progresses through the item choice and slow introduction of an increased, kind of complexity. The same kind of way that a lot of action games do it in single player.
Yep. They'll slowly
You're talking about something that
Mitch.
Mitch mentioned this briefly earlier. You're talking about the exact same thing. It's like the sneaky tutorial.
Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
They slowly teach you how to do a complex set of things, but they do it piecemeal, one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly.
I mean, WoW does it too. I mean, WoW's talent system and all that stuff, that is the same.
Right.
First you get, you start off with Fireball, and that's probably it. And then, like, as you level up from 1 to fucking, what is it, 110 now? 100? I can't remember.
I don't even know. 4 million?
1 to 100, you slowly get abilities. Boom, 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 until you have a really large set of abilities and a very complicated job to do in order to play the game well. Zelda's an example of the same thing, where they're just a little drop by drop. I think that's a really cool way that progression systems can be utilized in a video game.
Yeah, they used to do that in a lot of older games. Like, they did that in like Mega Man, like a lot of the Mega Man games. They would slowly introduce you to a bunch of different mechanics, and then slowly you start to realize, oh, these things are powerful against those things, and oh, now I get a dash move, and oh, now I get this and that, and it's wonderful. That game is...
Yeah, dude.
I could talk about Mega Man forever, but I will not.
This is also seen a lot in, it's a great example in RTS games. Right? And if you ever play StarCraft,
that's exactly
the first mission,
StarCraft, yes, exactly.
all
the
you
same
do
thing.
right off the bat, it's like, I have a bunch of miners. What can I make? You only make Marines. So you're like, all right, here's my building to make minerals, and here's my building to make guys that shoot
like
stuff.
The most basic infantry. You just build it and build it, and then they slowly introduce
Next
more.
mission, you got like, oh, we unlocked like fire bats, so we could fight groups of guys, and slowly until you get to the end, where you have your entire complex squadron. And I thought about it. I'm like, wow, yeah, RTS games. I thought about WoW or Warcraft, Command and Conquer, StarCraft. Then I thought about Dawn of War. Who mixed RTS with kind of like a story strategy. In Dawn of War, you had at least the second one, which wasn't as good, but it was still interesting in that your squad of guys you cared about. Like, cause if someone died in your squad, they were dead for reals. And so that way, you leveled them up over time, so you had kind of certain squad guys who you wanted to keep alive, and you'd set up for your guys, so you'd have a progression where you'd have a certain number of guys. So also, I just realized in my head, XCOM. You had certain guys who you'd progress to get like a lot of really cool grenade launchers and plasma rifles and stuff, and then, you'd be able to attack those, harder to hit missions with these stronger dudes by mixing in some of the other ones. I thought that was a cool way to, kind of go about it.
Yeah, we see this a lot in mobile gaming too. Earth Captain in chat mentions this, and I remember specifically there was this weird game where you had to had these different color balls, and you had to match them. It was a weird kind of Bejeweled style game, but it was very different. But they just only give you 2 colors, and then they throw in a third color, and then they throw in a fourth color that actually does something different when you match it, where it explodes. And they slowly
4 colors?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
4
They just slowly start building up, and they don't just toss you in like
Almost
a
a
big
rainbow.
giant spectrum of like 12 colors, and you have to figure out what the fuck's going on, and all the colors have different abilities. Like they slowly introduce each to them. And I mean, this is something that we see in mobile gaming, we see it in JRPGs, we see it in basically a lot of games, whether you recognize it or not. It's happening. It's tricking you in a sense.
Definitely not even tricking. It's if it's done well in a single player space, that's what drives the game. And I think that we usually think about the Call of Duties, the Overwatches, the WoWs that try and keep you going in the multiplayer space that are kind of right in your face, or even Skyrims, but you don't think about like the other ways that single players progress you along the storyline and along the game, making you learn new techniques and things.
They make you learn without you knowing. That's what I meant by a trick. Like, you're learning, and you have no idea that you're learning.
Right. Something that so we'll talk some more about World of Warcraft, but this is kind of where the old system and the new system are distinguished. Chris, is that the old system's the tree where you've got 41 talent points or something, and you might invest 1 talent point that says you're 2% better with fire spells, for instance, and then you can ultimately invest 5 total talents for a total of 15% better with fire spells. And the idea is that you have like incremental power gain. So that's something that system was offering you, incremental power gain. What it didn't really offer, though, and I think which is kind of key, or at least can be very fun for a progression system, is choice. That system failed from the illusion of choice, but there really was no choice. You just did whatever the best thing to do was. And so in that way, that's how talents in WoW 1.0 failed, and that's why they revised the system. And what they revised it to is actually something that we've also mentioned already today, Call of Duty. They made a system that's very much like Call of Duty, where you have mutually exclusive choices, but very simple ones. You're given a choice of 3. Pick one of these 3 things. So you only have to compare items A against B and C, against 2 other things. It's very simple. And you just have to do that same thing 9 times. So you have 9 very small choices. And that allows you to... first, it's easier to grasp, to grok as the player, man. It's like you don't have to fucking look at this big tree and compare 79 elements on 3 different trees. No, you got 3 fucking icons to look at, and you just pick whichever one you like the best, or that suits your playstyle the best. Ideally, that's the idea, at least.
And they're all similar too. It's not like there's an obvious choice. It's kind of more based on playstyle, based on what you want to do. And I really like that.
I somewhat like it in that I played a lot of Battlefield Bad Company 2, like a lot of that game. And that was kind of similar in that you kind of selected your loadout or whatever with your certain guns. When you leveled up a gun, you'd have to play with that certain gun and get a certain number of kills, or do, whatever little achievements, like get a certain headshot or whatever. And then that would slowly unlock like little modifications, like either a scope that you could attach or like a silencer or whatever. But it never let you unlock it in the order you wanted to. Right? Then that's what I hated. Like, if you had a gun, like, oh yeah, I really like this gun. So it's like, oh, you know what? Then if you play this gun, you'll unlock all the stuff for this gun. But you're going to unlock it in the order that we say that you have to unlock it.
I don't like that either. I don't like that you don't get to choose a gun either. Like, you just get to unlock the guns in the order. I remember when I was playing the most recent Call of Duty, it was called Advanced Warfare. That was the one thing I hated, was that at level 41, then you got this one gun, which was pretty much one of my favorite guns and the only gun that I wanted. And I couldn't get that specific gun until I got to level 41. So it's really annoying that I didn't get to play the game the way I wanted to play it until way later in the game. It's a frustrating progression system. It's not something that I'm particularly fond of, but I mean, it happens.
Usually, weirdly, at that point, I feel like a lot of those kinds of games, it's almost going to be similar in some way to the Overwatch, where you're going to get to that gun and you're like, all right, thank God I could finally use this gun. And then it's like, now what? Like, I don't really care about the rest of the progress. Like, I just wanted to use this one particular gun. And it's like, oh man, I finally got my Mei skin. It's like, well, now why am I opening these damn boxes?
Yeah, it's actually a problem, because it was right after I got the gun and I got like all of the things that I wanted, all the attachments for that gun. I guess like the ideal thing to do in Call of Duty is to like prestige. When you get to the max level, you can reset, which is what you're going to do in Overwatch. Yeah. You can reset, but then you lose all of the progression you just made and you start over and you just reprogress. And I was like, I don't want to do that. All I want to do is play with this gun. This is my favorite gun. So I have no reason to prestige. I said, I'm just going to sit at level, I think it's 55 or something. I'm just going to sit here. There's no reason for me to lose the gun that I just worked so hard to get. That sounds awful. So it didn't really offer me any reason to progress once I got the thing I wanted.
Well, Prestige is a funny thing. Prestige is there as an option specifically for players that get off on kind of the Skinner model, right?
Yeah.
They have literally unlocked everything, but their need to unlock remains. And so they have the option of just discarding everything that they've earned and doing it all over again.
What the seasons are in Diablo.
Sure.
That's exactly what it is. You play a character, you get up to max level, you're full of like demon armor and like ultra mega sword of slaying, and it's like, oh, new season's out, want to start a character from scratch with no gold? Sure, why not? Let me get it again.
Just do it over again.
Oh
and isn't it interesting? More and more games are doing this. Do we think that developers are becoming too in love with the idea of like that sort of progression, that sort of reset, and always providing this endless climb to nothingness?
I think they're getting lazy. I think they're seeing how successful Call of Duty is with it, and they're just copying it, and it's kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie. I want something different. I want, we haven't, think about it. Let me ask you this specific question. Have we seen like a new style progression system in a long time? I don't think I have.
I
can't.
I'm trying to think, man.
I can't think of like a new, not necessarily revolutionary, but just like an interesting way to progress the game that hasn't already been done before. I don't think I've ever seen one. I think we got to the Call of Duty level where you refresh, and now even fucking Overwatch is copying like that. That was like a big red flag for me. I was like, we're prestiging in Overwatch. This is a thing. Like, holy shit. It kind of really upset me. It kind of blew my mind a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what it makes me think is that the numbers say that most people like it, because like we talked about, Diablo does it. And now Overwatch is doing it. There must be data that suggests most people like doing that.
Here's the thing. You're right in that I don't think it's a developer-only problem. It's kind of the player. It's not a player problem either. It's that we like to unlock stuff, right? Who doesn't like to, progress towards something and find some kind of achievement? You found something, you're like, yes, I got it. Well, that's what we want. They have found a way that works, right? And I don't think developers are quite lazy, as they are not putting in the effort to try and develop new systems, because right off the bat, it's hard to create one. I'm sure there are out there. These people get paid a bunch of money to figure this out. But that's why it's kind of not, I don't think they're throwing it in to increase the length of time. I feel like it's more that gamers now are expect games to have some form of progress, or they're not going to keep coming back to it. I mean, Team Fortress got big because they had to add in the hats and the guns and things for people to keep playing and keep going. Originally, it didn't have any of that. I
thought it was still a great game, though. I played the shit out of it.
It was a great game. I played a crap load of it. It was, but I don't think it would have lasted at half its age.
Oh, not even.
Had it not added some way for gamers to keep playing. Old style games like the old Halos and stuff, nobody's playing that. Not only because newer games have come out, people have liked the older games better, but because they had no way to progress.
It's funny, on that idea, it's almost like the developers recognize that this is just the way. I mean, we've been saying, I hate overusing words and I found a fancy word, but they know that the Skinner box system works. That's the whole idea behind the study, is that it works on humans. And so a game developer is going to take advantage of that fact, because it's an easy way to maintain players. I'm not, and I don't mean to call you out, Mitch, but I would never, and sometimes I tell you that you're getting twisted in semantics. I will say I am twisted in semantics. I would never describe a developer as being lazy. I might say that there are better ways to do it and they didn't choose that way. But it's a funny thing. Even with Overwatch, you get a bunch of sprays. You get these little sprays that you can on the wall, right? Mm-hmm. And most of them you get through the boxes that you get at random. But there are some, and I don't know how many, but I at least know of one set. The pixel art sprays are unlocked via achievement. Yeah,
the
per
cute
character.
ones as well.
I don't know if there was more. Yeah. Are there more?
Cute ones. There's ones that for
the cute ones too.
Yeah, there's ones for doing something really ridiculous. The Tracer one was stick somebody with your ult 4 times in one game. Which is it's kind of,
is that the cute?
Yeah, and that's the cute skin. I just unlocked it 2 days ago.
Cool.
And it's hard to do.
Nice.
It's not an easy thing to do, so it was kind of nice, but I didn't even know it existed. I had no idea that was even a thing.
Right. I didn't know that it was a thing until I unlocked a couple of the pixel art sprays, and I have Farrah's Cute spray. I don't even know what it's for. But I like those sprays more because I did something specific to acquire them.
You earned
like
it,
they feel more meaningful to me than the dumb random I just opened a box and got what the dice rolled me.
Right.
I even feel that way about the I got a Widowmaker skin. I'm using that one over I bought Overwatch like the day it came out, so a little bit before, so I ended up getting the pre-order Widowmaker skin.
Yeah.
And so I got that. I'm like, I'm not going to use. Everybody's using that. Like, why am I going to get the
Everybody
one I
has
get
it.
free? I'm going to use this really cool skin that I could have bought for like 200 coins or whatever instead
right,
of the
exactly.
Because even though I didn't really earn that, it's something that's not given to you, and you feel like you've achieved it in some way.
Sure.
So let me ask you this, Dakota. You asked me if developers are too reliant on this progression system. Are we too reliant on this progression system to like get enjoyment from our game? Like, do we need it too much, and that's why it's happening?
Well, it's a personal question. I think I've established that I'm not, and I'm very proud in a weird way. Like I only play a game if it's fun. Fuck, dangling a carrot in front of my face. When I play WoW, I can give a shit about the items I'm wearing. I'm just happy to be playing. I'm happy to be raiding with my friends. Mm-hmm. But some people live for the digital items. Some people live to get that next piece of loot, and how they get it doesn't really matter. I mean, as we've seen, that game, World of Warcraft, continues to introduce new ways for players to get an item that has purple text in the title. And that's all that matters to some people. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, man. Like, I think, yes, holistically speaking, I think gamers are too in love with this idea of just having. I think it kind of relates to like entitlement, this like encroaching entitlement that I think the gaming community is suffering from. I don't know though, man. I don't have the solution.
I personally, I mentioned that like I also like Dakota. I play games. I was rank 1 forever in Heroes of the Storm, and I just kept playing it because I really like to play Heroes of the Storm. Like, I'm not going to go up in rank anywhere. I just like playing the game. But freaking, as you were mentioning, I don't know if it's quite entitlement as it's more, that's our way to achieve stuff in games now. Like before, back in the olden times, NES games were ridiculously hard. So it wasn't that gamers back then had to like, really try and beat it. It's that was their progression system. That was their achievements. They were trying to get to the next level and be like, oh, bro, I hit World 10-1 the other day. And they're like, no way. It wasn't it's like time invested. It was time invested to get skill in a certain way. So I think it's
totally. And I think in that same line of thought though, like, I don't believe that you are entitled to beat a game just because you paid money for it.
That's so
I don't think that a lot of gamers.
Now
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I don't think it has anything to do with that. People aren't going into like Overwatch to be like, you know what? I bought this game. I deserve all these skins. People are going into like, oh, I'm having fun with this. Hey, I want to keep getting more skins. I can't wait till I, unlock this thing. Or, oh, now I'm going to play Call of Duty. Oh, I have to play it today to unlock my thing. I need to play Hearthstone today to do my daily quest to unlock my, unlock my gold.
What I am saying though is that I think that people like log into WoW thinking they are entitled to get epic items. I do think that's the case. And I think that people buy a single player game with the expectation that they will beat it. And I don't think that is a given. I don't think it should be a given. I don't think it should be either, Dakota. I respect a difficult game. I respect the fact that what you were saying back in the day, just to finish a game, that was an achievement. You had to earn that shit, man. It wasn't for everybody. You didn't just get it because you bought the game. And I think that's kind of a cultural shift.
Super fucking Ghouls and Ghosts is the hardest game you'll ever fucking play. Fuck that game.
Totally.
I mean, I may be naive, but I think I agree with. I don't agree with your idea, but I just agree. There's a different way that people think about it. I don't think that they're going into a game entitled. I think it's just that they feel like they're getting something out of it that games now don't provide like they used to. This is just a new way.
But Dakota, I'm kind of on the same page with you right there. I think that thing that they don't provide is a difficulty in the game. They make the game like hard, and they have these like different levels now where you can like do easy, medium, or hard, or hardcore, or expert, and all that other shit. So now, like, whatever level you want to play it on, like, you can play it on just so you can beat it. And it's like, just jump in the game and play it, and however hard it is, how hard it is. And if you beat it, you beat it. If you don't, you don't.
Real
like,
quickly,
I don't know.
Before we digress into a hardness thing, gamers have also been playing games a lot longer now. So what used to be hard,
We're just all better.
What used to be hard isn't as hard anymore. It's different.
That's true.
As a culture, as a gaming culture, we've all increased in difficulty. So with that in mind,
good job, guys.
We've been talking about
great job, everybody.
nice work, nice work, all of
back.
you out there in TV land for getting good.
Yeah.
We did it.
Get good, everybody.
Yeah, we got good, guys.
Good,
we did it ready. We got good. What would be your ideal progression system, Mitchell?
Ranked games that honestly, like, an ideal progression system for me, it doesn't have to be story. Like I said, I like playing games when I know that I'm getting better at the game, right? Like, I love that. I love, like when I first started playing Tracer, Chris, you told me try Tracer. I tried Tracer and I was like, oh wow, she's really fun. Like, she's really fucking hard, but she's really fun. Like, there's a lot of different things you can do with it. And I can feel myself getting better at the game. I can feel myself, like, becoming better with this character. However, when I play with these, like, butt fucks on casual play, sometimes I'll just fucking lose because we don't have the right team composition. And so for me, like, any type of progression that will challenge me, that will challenge my ability, that's what I want. So if that requires in a single player game, it just to get harder, the bosses to get more intricate, that's fine. I don't mind that. I need literally anything. And this idea, this Skinner method, I'm not a huge fan of at all. I don't like it. I think it's archaic at this point, but we're just relying on it because what I meant to say was by developers being lazy is that we just haven't figured out a better way to do this. So we're all just defaulting to what we know works. It's kind of like if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. That's what I mean by lazy. And I feel like there's a way to innovate the progression system that will incorporate, like, a ranked style and maybe also, like, storyline or something else that will intrigue the players without just, like, spoon feeding them what they want.
Sure. And I think that's a noble goal. But I will say, like, realistically speaking, it's fucking hard, man.
Oh,
Innovation is so hard in video games. I can hardly think of the few meaningful innovations in video games in, like, the last decade.
Right, but is that because it's hard, or is that because not doing it is easy?
Yeah, I think it is because it's hard. I think it's because we've done so much. It's hard to find new space. I mean, the more we do, the less space there is to discover. I agree. That doesn't mean stop discovering. That doesn't mean stop trying. I just mean, you talk about, like, we've got patterns that we know work and are established, and you don't want to, as you said, if it's not broke, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That means don't change just for the sake of change with purpose. So I don't know. I think
we should develop with purpose. And my ideal progression system would be something, honestly, my ideal progression system right now would be something new. I would like a progression system that's going to make me go, I've never seen this before. Like, that would be awesome because honestly, all there is
But what would that do for you? Like, what would make you keep coming back? Like, how would, I don't know, like, just something new. And I think newness wears off.
That's the problem with gaming right now, is that we need a reason to come back beyond the game. Sure. And that's even, I'm at flaw for it. I need a reason to come back beyond the game. And that sucks. And maybe that's just because of the way that the way that games have been developed, they've let me do that. Or the way that maybe it's just the way that I think, but I can't be the only person that thinks this way because the Skinner box is, like, directly pointed at me. I just fucking hate it for some reason. But I apparently need a reason to come back beyond the game, but it would be nice to not need that. And I think that I've been almost cultured into expecting that. Like, expecting that the game's gonna be good, but I need a little bit more. Like, give me a reason to continue playing this good game. And I hate that. So my ideal progression system would be something that doesn't make me feel that way.
My ideal progression system would probably be something reminiscent of old World of Warcraft, where they continually added new content, like a new way to play the game, and built off it. Like, I enjoyed how they added new dungeons based on the feedback of the old ones. How that changed the way the players worked together to interact with it. And it wasn't just the new loot, like the new loot with new stats on it. And I know that's intensely hard to continue on that cycle, but that's my ideal progression system. A way to interact with the game in a continuously new way using the old rules, but tweaking them or adding new rule sets on top. But I don't mind if progress stops if it's finished in a single player. Like, some single player games have I know some of the Assassin's Creed, they have all those stupid little blips on the map. So it's like, here, do these 1,000 quests that are exactly the same over and over again. Like, find this person's bread or kill this bear 100 times. Like, I don't need that. I want something a way to do it new. And that's what my ideal progression system is.
Chris, I'm right there with you. I think that WoW was doing it right for a while. And I like, WoW does a really good job of, and Dakota, you and I were talking about this before the show, they do a really good job of layering progression systems on top of progression systems. You know, we have the leveling up like we talked about, and you slowly learn how to play your character. Then you have the talent tree where you slowly get to specialize your character. And then you have like the item system where you slowly get to buff up your character. And then you have like the tiered item system where you slowly get to get a higher grade tier item for your character. And that is only accomplished by going through these harder and harder and harder dungeons. Like that, there's so many layers of progression there.
The whole game is
the whole game is a giant.
The whole game is just
it's a giant progression system.
Is.
And I would love a game like WoW, because I came back for the game. I didn't come back. I liked, playing my druid, and I wanted to continue playing him and seeing what other things I could do with him. So give me another WoW system. That's what I want. Dakota, what about you? What's your ideal progression system?
For me, I think the most important thing that a progression system can bring is choice. Meaningful choice, not the illusion of choice. So I'm really drawn to WoW's Talent 2.0 and Call of Duty style systems where you have to make mutually exclusive choices. You don't get apples and bananas. You have to pick one. And that means that you may not have made the same choice as the other person, which means that there's inherent customization, which means that there's inherent variety. And I think that's cool. That's what... I love that. I love that. I want to see more of it. I'm always happy when I do see it. I was very happy with the move from WoW's Talent 1.0 to 2.0. Never looked back.
Yeah.
For me,
as a veteran WoW player of the old system, seeing the new system when I played with you a little bit, Dakota, when I came back, I was blown away. I was like, wow, this is fucking incredible. This is way better than what we had.
It's so simple. It's streamlined. It's like, ooh, okay, just click.
Yeah, it's super simplified, but it's also super diverse. It's both. It's wonderful. It's exactly what we need.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we talked a lot about progression systems. Any last words before we progress the podcast?
I like that one.
Oh, he likes that one. That's good. All right. Well, let's not break it. Let's go to the Metabet.
All right, guys. The Metabet, for those that don't know, is the game where we bet on the Metacritic score of an upcoming video game. We're going to talk a little bit about last week's bet. We bet on Overwatch, and we had on the show lead writer of Evolve, Matt Colville, and he won. He won the bet, so the three of us lost.
Yeah.
So we all had to partake in the challenge. We usually assign the losers a challenge or a stipulation or a game-playing assignment. So we decided, let's play some more Overwatch,
okay,
right?
Why not? We bet on Overwatch.
Best
Let's play
play
Overwatch.
of the game. Yeah, so we played for a week, and we recorded our best play of the game or highlight. And right before the show, we shared the clips with one another. So we've all seen each other's clips. Ooh. And what we're going to do is we're going to rate each other's clips and our own on a scale of 1 to 3. So I'm Dakota. I get to assign my video, Mitch's video, and Chris's video 1, 2, or 3. And I have to assign each of the videos each of the numbers. So each of us, 3 is the highest. It's worth the most
3 is
points.
the peakest?
We're all going to assign each other. Yeah, we're all going to assign each other points. And whoever has the most points got the most votes and therefore had the best play. So I think I was thinking about how we're going to do this. I'm going to say somebody's video. I want you to write your number, or we can just say it. We get too much typing. Say what you give that person, and then I'll write it down. So, for instance, we'll do mine first. What do you give my video, Mitch? 1, 2, or 3?
I gave it a 2.
Okay, Chris, what did you give my video?
I gave your video a 3.
You gave mine a 3, and I gave myself a 2. I did not think mine was the best. So 2, 2, and 3 for me. All right, now we'll do Mitch's. Mitch, what'd you give your own video?
I gave it a 1, actually.
You gave it a 1?
He was talking before the show. He's like, I'm going to give mine a 3. I don't know why you guys, we're all going to just give each other 3s. I don't know what the hell.
Mine was just classic, I don't know. Mine
Wait,
was
hold
just
on.
a classic
Before
tracer.
we should go, I think we should just give a quick synopsis, real quick, about what our video was, so that people know
what they were.
So my video, I was
That's a
playing
good
Tracer, and I just we were on, I don't remember what map it was. There was a capture point right in the middle, and there's stairs on either side. And I ran in, I used my ult, which tosses a sticky bomb and it explodes, on a Lucio, and he ran into one of his teammates and blew him up. So I killed 2 people, and then immediately I time warped backwards, jumped behind a McCree as he was ulting and shot him in the back and killed him. And then I killed the Pharah that was right in front of him, and then I time warped backwards and killed a Mei out of her
Diva
mech. But it was really long and drawn out. It wasn't really your guys' was really smooth and fluid, and Dakota's, yours was beautiful. Yours just looked great, and it was just, and mine just
Dakota,
was
tell
it
the
was
people.
all over the place. I don't know.
So I was playing Pharah, and for those that don't know, her ultimate is this huge AoE rocket barrage, but she's very vulnerable when she does it. She has to stand in one spot for 2 seconds. Basically, I just got a full team clear with an ult. I timed it up with a Zarya black hole, so their whole team was grouped up, and I got 6 kills.
Yeah, that's what, it was good.
So it's cool, but and even though it was flashy, it was kind of by the book, I think. It was a little by the book, which is why I didn't give mine the highest score. That's why I gave Mitch's a higher score. Not only did he get a solid ult, he got 2 kills with an ult, but he also, people are kind of frowning on just the only ultimate play of the game, right? Oh, you just pressed Q. That you see that a lot in chat. Oh, here comes a Q. Here comes the pressing of the Q. And Mitch's wasn't that. He pressed Q to get 2 kills, and then he picked up 3 more kills the hard way.
Yeah.
Which is why I gave his clip a higher score.
I gave you
Chris,
3
what was
because
your
you
clip?
worked together with the other person, and it was just it looked nice. I went for aesthetic.
Dakota-
also.
Dakota,
It was
okay.
by the book.
Dakota, you failed to mention that you team killed while the Zarya was using her ult that was sucking everybody in. That was beautiful. That was just
it was
wonderful.
beautiful.
And I went through, not only did I kill the team, but I went through a Reinhardt shield
Yes.
too. He had to shield up. The shield went down, so I went through a whole shield's worth of health.
Yeah.
Maybe he panicked and let go of the button. We're not sure.
Yeah.
Chris, what was your clip?
Mine
real quick?
was I was Mei, and I threw down my ult, which is a big AoE of frost, and it slowly freezes everybody in place. And so this was a flank to win the game. We ran out in there, froze a Reinhardt, killed him. Then in the back there was a Bastion being healed by a Mercy. So I shot the Bastion, I killed him, and then I killed the Mercy, or I was shooting the Mercy, and then she rezzed the Bastion. Then I killed the Mercy, and then we killed the Bastion a second time. And that's mostly why I added it, because we killed Bastion twice.
yeah.
Nice. A lot of Bastion hate right now
Yeah.
in the current.
So those are our clips.
talk amongst
So
the game.
Dakota, I gave my clip a 1. What did you give mine?
1. I gave your clip a 3. I liked that you killed a lot of people and you didn't rely 100% on the ult.
I gave it a
like
3
that.
also.
Wow. Okay.
you
Cool.
go.
Because it was fun. Because you were zipping around, and it was fun.
I mean,
I
it
gave
was-
it a 2. I gave it a 2 because we were at 1, 2, 3.
Oh, what a
Wow,
tease!
Yeah, my bad.
Chris.
I gave Dakota the 3 because it looked the prettiest. It was hard, bro. It was hard. I was in between.
Okay. So and now Dakota, what
All
did
right,
you give?
Christopher.
What did you give Chris's clip?
I gave Chris's a 1 only because it wasn't flashy.
Yeah, I know.
And that was pretty much it. It was a little slower paced. I did like that he killed the Mercy right in the face with a little ice bolt from quite a distance too.
Yeah, you picked
It was a
her
nice
off.
little long
Chris. You
range.
picked her off. It was nice. You ice picked her
right
off.
off. But not before she got her ult off. So maybe that has a little bit to do with the lower score. So one for me.
Chris, I gave yours a 3. You killed a Bastion twice, and for me, that is just
That's why I added it in there. I had a couple flashy ones with Reaper and stuff, but I'm I want to do one where I kill Bastion twice.
straight up, that is my favorite thing, hands down. Killing Bastion is always great. But what I liked was that you killed the Mercy, but you let her ult first. So she ulted, and then you made her ult a waste, and you just killed the guy anyways. That's great. As a Mercy main, that is annoying. When I res somebody and they die immediately, I'm like, sweet, that was a waste of time.
I don't want to be that guy who's I calculated it, but I did, so I'm not going to keep saying it. So,
So what'd you give yourself, Chris?
I 1, because you the 3, Mitch the 2, me the 1.
Humble bundle over here.
Wow.
Very, very humble. So our scores, peakest to weakest. I was up top with 7, Mitch in the middle 6, and Chris with 5. So I've won that little Metabet challenge that
Congrats.
we had. Nothing's going to come of that one. That's just a little badge of honor I get to wear.
Dakota, I mean,
let's move on to...
yours was just so clean. It just looked pretty.
It was very clean.
It was very clean.
I like.
How about you make us do a 1v1?
You can if you want. You want to do
Best
what are you
of
going to
three.
do?
We have to. I mean, we did all this. We did
all.
all this showmanship. We can't just let the people have a badge of honor. There's got to be blood. The people want blood.
Well, what I can offer the listeners is my clip because it's already up on YouTube. I put it on YouTube to show you guys.
Wow, the winning clip.
Ooh, the winning clip. The winning clip. I'll put it in the show notes and link it.
All right,
on
there
the
you
website.
go. That's your victory. Is the world gets to see it.
That's the
we
victory.
also do a 1v1.
No, I'm not going to 1v1 you. Okay, let's move on.
You guys
let's move on to the
1v1 all you want, man. You're not best friends unless they touch, though. Just remember.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go on to what we bet on last week. We bet on a little game called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan for the PlayStation 4. Let me recap our scores. Peakus to Weakus, Chris was up top with 78. Our guest, Matt Colville, 77. I was at 72, and Mitch way down low with 71. Today, a week after release, based on 28 critic reviews, TMNT Mutants in Manhattan has a Metacritic score of 47.
Yes!
Mitch hasn't won in a while, man.
Won in so long.
Making Mitch the winner by a fucking long shot. And also, let me point out, making that by far the lowest rated game that we have bet on in the Metabet over the course of 38 episodes.
I am so happy right now. You have no idea. I haven't won the Metabet
It's been a while,
in
right?
so long. I don't have to do
Been a
anything
while.
this week. This is fucking great. Oh, God.
So,
all right, what are you guys doing besides playing Overwatch and your usual...
dude, what do you mean besides
Okay,
playing
so we're going to do
Overwatch?
another Overwatch
I'm
one?
moving.
How will we punish you? I didn't think I was going to win. I'm so unprepared right now. I don't have a speech prepared.
Do it about environmental issues.
Yeah, seriously.
Don't,
The
please.
polar bears.
Then maybe we have to only play Maze against each other or something. Environmental issues.
See, so it's so hard to like force you to play a specific character because there's 21 and it's very integral. Like that just sounds like it would suck to play one character all week.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
How do you feel
Doesn't
about
it?
just playing one position all week? Like,
Well, how about you challenge us to see who has the best something with a character, so we can
So
we
that
can
way
go
we could
for
actually
it.
quantify it.
Yeah, quantify it, and we can
Maybe, like,
at our leisure go for that.
How about like
but
best
still
damage
also play
done
other
or best
characters?
healing done
I've got
or something?
I got it. I will, I don't know how this is gonna. No, yeah, okay. I want both of you.
Ooh, clearing his throat for this one.
I would like both of you to get the most. I'm blanking on the word. Sticky bomb kills, like in one most.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna do our best Mitch impression.
Do your best Mitch impression. Get the most.
So is that a track stat like stickies
It's
in
in
a
one
round?
round. I want a screenshot of sticky bomb kills in the round. So the most tracer sticky bomb kills, not ult kills. I want them to stick.
Oh yeah, you got to get.
Yeah, I don't want kills
and
with
that's
the
tracked,
kills
right?
with the
That's tracked
bomb.
by the
I want the
system?
kills. Yeah, most stuck ultimates. I think is what it says, or something like that. In one round. So that's what you guys have to go for. Not like overall over the week. That would be way too. Because then the person that plays the most is going to win. That's not fair.
Yeah.
I want the most in one round.
Gotcha. All right.
And I will have a
Deal.
challenge
All
for
right,
the
so we're gonna
loser.
be,
Like the loser will suffer a punishment. I haven't won in a
He's
long
doubling
time,
down. You
so
can't double down on your assignments. He's got to take advantage of the fact that he's won. He's like,
Yeah,
gotta
I
get
know,
all
uh-huh.
the.
Yep. All right. So what are we betting on
All
this
right.
week?
So our bet for this week, before we get the hell out of here, is Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
God, I
for
can't
people are
wait
looking
for
forward to this.
game. This game is so. I played the first one
Yeah.
and it was amazing.
Did you like
loved it. It was wonderful. The storyline
one is a,
was fucking weird, and like the way that they told it was with this like weird art, and I didn't really like that too much. But the gameplay was beautiful.
Cool. All right. So I've got my my number written down. This is a little bit of a reboot of sorts. It's an origin story at least for the main character. What's her name? Jade.
I don't fucking
Her name
remember.
Jade?
I played this game like 5 years
don't
ago.
know.
I could not
Don't
tell you.
quote me.
I think
Don't
Jade
quote
might be the Beyond Good and Evil character. Maybe
Is that racist of me just to assume her name was Jade? Because
What?
I mean, it is
I don't want
now.
to spoil the surprise. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I didn't think it was until you brought it up. So
First into
clearly you
racism.
think it's a smidge racist. Yeah, we don't condone racism on Analog Stick
We
Radio.
don't condone
Freudian.
Dakota on Analog
Yeah, we
Stick
do
Radio.
not condone.
Okay, I wrote my number.
Wait, are we writing it down again? Do I have to write on a dollar
No,
bill?
I typed it.
Okay.
Typed it.
I've typed it. Can't you type it?
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready. You ready, Chris?
Yeah, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, wait, no, this is good.
All right,
Damn it.
Pretty tight.
Damn it.
Pretty tight spread. So, peakest to weakest. Chris up top, 83. Mitch in the middle, 81. I'm down low with 78.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked really good and people are excited about it, but I also think I remember people hating the first Mirror's Edge at the beginning.
I think it was more of a cult favorite.
Yeah, it was more of
didn't
like a
get,
cult
I don't think
favorite
critical acclaim.
Wow, wait a minute.
That's why I was hoping the nostalgia goggles would.
Wait a minute. Does that mean I'm part of a cult?
Yeah, bro.
Shit.
Congrats.
When did that happen? Fuck, I was not paying attention.
You never know,
apparently.
man.
Have you drank any Kool-Aid since then?
I
heard
drink
that's
Kool-Aid
something
every
to be aware
goddamn
of.
day. Are you kidding me?
All right, then you're good. All right, it's fine.
All right, guys. Well, as always, Analog Stick Radio is brought to you by BitCultures. Now, if you've never been to this site, it's a video game site that features reviews, opinion pieces, and digital media, just like this show that you're listening to and or watching, and or both, I guess, right now. So if that's something you'd be interested in, if you've enjoyed yourself here, go check it out because there's a lot of other goodies over there. www.bitcultures.com. If you want to reach us, Analog Stick Rad Guys, or Funboys, as I've been calling us today, you can email us.
Jesus.
You can email us at analogstickradio@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at ASR Podcast. Dakota's really good at hanging out with you on the Twitter, or the Twitter, or the Twitter, or whatever it's called.
On the tweeter.
Yeah, so, shout us out, show us your really cool play of the game. We'll mention it here if you have like a really sweet one, especially if it's a Tracer one. I'll make sure to mention it. We record every single Tuesday night right here at twitch.tv/analogstick radio, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. So if you're listening and you're like, man, I wonder what they all look like. I wonder how nice or invisible their beards are. Just come check us out. And if not, we're published to iTunes and all your favorite podcast trackers, including, what is it, Google Play, the following Thursday at around noon o'clock. So, if you're watching the stream and you're like, hey, I want to listen to these guys every week, but I don't know if I want to tune in, go follow us, add a comment. Do whatever you got to do. Any parting words before we go, ladies?
I'm ready to progress to some Overwatch.
I'm vomiting right now. Here it is. So, well, once again, my name is Mitch. For myself, Chris, and Dakota, this has been Analog Stick Radio. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week.
See you later.